Hi, I'm back for Saturday Sampler June, and we are making the double rose block, and this is what it looks like in your pattern. So, you know, I always encourage you to have this out so you know where all the fabric colors go, what the block looks like, and you can see it in the quilt right behind me. My photographer here will scan up and you can see it. It's in the outside of the square. So you're going to be making 4 of these blocks this month. And then what I love this block because just like the trifecta of beverages, it's the trifecta of my favorite rulers. And then my little extra Quilter's Magic Wand ruler too. Okay, so I'm going to be using the wing clipper, the block lock, and my, where did it go? Somewhere under here, the folded corner clipper. You know that I love all of them. And I believe I've demonstrated them, but I'll go through them again in case you've missed it. And you missed me using them, of course. All right, so let's get going. Okay, so the first one is to make 8 flying geese. Okay, so you're going to be, and I've already made my flying geese. These are the colorways that you're going to be using. I'm going to be demoing them, showing just, you know, a lot of you know how to use them, but some of you might be a little bit new to it, so I'll review, and if you don't want to watch it, then skip it. Forward me, miss it. I'm okay. I won't know. Yeah, I will. Okay. My feelings won't be that hurt. Okay, so this is what the 2 colorway are. You have a base of fabric 7 and a base of fabric 8. And the little mini squares are both fabric 10s. Okay, so you have 4 squares of fabric 10 for this one and 4 squares of fabric 10 for this one. And you get 4 of these of each. I know, super cool. So you know they're oversized, and then you're going to cut them down to size. All right, that's how it works. So you're going to get your base. You're going to get your base out. You're going to take on that base, and I don't have really the start of it. Sorry about that, because I had to, you know, make some of them to show you what the block looks like. But you're going to take that big square, pretend that this is my big square here of fabric, and I'm going to take 4 small squares. They would be bigger than this, and I'm going to place one here and one on the other side. It would be smaller. And in your pamphlet that comes with the wing clipper, it shows you the layout of the first 4, okay? Or the first 2. And you're going to pin them on, and then I take my magic wand and I draw from point to point and I sew, okay? And it will show you that first step of the process. Okay, and actually I have my book back here. Let me get it. Sorry about the back. But it shows you the starting process here. And what I'm talking about is that base square and your 2 squares on here, and then you draw double lines and sew twice and then cut down the middle. After I cut it, you get 2 blocks that look like this, and you take and you press open those blocks towards the triangle. And here I feel a little bit of that coming up, so I'll press that to make sure it's flat. And then what you're going to do from there is take your next square, which is one of these, and I'm going to pin it to here, okay? And you don't pin right to the edge, just a little touch in. Like they say 1/16 of an inch. I pin it about like that, okay? And I always pin them on so it doesn't move when you're drawing that line and when you're sewing. So I do it at the beginning like that, and I take my quilter's wand, and I'm using just a darker marker so you can see what I'm doing, and you mark on each side, okay, a thin little line, and then you're going to sew on that line. And actually I sew inside that line so that I have a little extra room, and always make sure you sew inside of there, okay? And I sew on each side. So I do all 4, and then when I'm sewing, I can then, when I start, I sew inside of that line, go ahead and sew, and I have all 4 ready to go, and then I just sew all 4 of them at one time, okay? And then away you go. So once you have those sewn, you cut them apart. So let me just show you. Let me just sew the other side to show you the cutting. You're going to cut that apart. Okay, get this out of the way. There's so much going on here. You're going to take and you're going to cut this apart right down the middle. All right. And then you're going to just press this open towards that triangle. And you'll have 4 of those. So see, I have the other side, and then I have the other 2 on the other side. Here's another colorway here pressed open that I need to press open. But you would have 4 flying geese from that one square. And then now these are too big. You can't use these yet. Here's one cut down, but you can see it's too big. It has to be 2.5 by 4.5, and it tells you that in the pattern. Square to 2.5 by 4.5. How do you do that? Well, you can use a regular rectangle ruler, or you can use the wing clipper, which I love. So I take the first start you do it. It's a little cramped here, but I can show you. You have your marker here at 2.5 and 4.5, and there's a little tiny triangle on there, and you line that little triangle up with the triangle that's in your block, in your points, and it matches up perfectly, usually, hopefully. And so there's a little triangle, and it matches up with your triangle, and that's your first square up. Okay. And then I'm just going to turn my block, and then I can make sure that I'm at the 4.5 on the bottom. And there's a nice little square right there, and an X, and that X matches the top of the point. And then I just square it up there. So that just gives you a little review of how the wing clipper works. And the nice thing is that I have a perfect 1/4 inch point, and I would do that for all my flying geese. So you have 2 colorways of flying geese. One goes at the top, one goes at the bottom, and then you use your other rectangle to match there. And when I piece these, I turn it over and piece with this on top, and my needle is going to go right underneath that V. I don't hit it right at the V, because if you do, when you press this open, you're going to lose your point. Okay? So I piece it, and I'm right below that intersection, because then when I'm right below and I press it open, I still have my point. And then again on this side, I'm going to piece it that way. And I would press towards here that has no piecing on it. Okay? So now the next thing we get to do is we get to make a bunch of half square triangles. How many? 16. Woohoo! All right, so you're going to take your fabrics 2 and 9, and they look like this. You're going to make half square triangles. You know how to do that. You're going to cut them down to 2.5 inches. We all know how to do that, and you know that I love my block lock. I'm using a bigger size one, or you can use your little 2.5 one, or whatever size you have. I've demoed that before, so we're going to move forward. But you need 16. And in this, let me move my iron out of the way here. This is how they're set up in the block. So I have the block set up. So you have 2 points facing each other, and then 2 points facing here. You have your other unpieced blocks here. So now you have a lot of this center here. And now the last thing that we have to make are, well, then they show you how you have those blocks pieced together here. So now we have our sew and flip rectangles. And what do I get to use that with? My folded corner clipper. All right, isn't that exciting? Yes. Okay, so you get to make 4 of A and B. They're reverse size. Now the only tricky thing about that, they're like mirror image, is you have to remember how they're laid out. So I have 2 rectangles here. How do you know which direction? Well, I've talked about it before, and you may not remember, so it's a good reminder sometimes I make a cheater line so that I remember which way to cut it. So these are my rectangles, and it's fabric 7. So I'm going to lay them on here. And of course it's right sides together, but the beautiful thing about batiks are that there's no right sides or wrong sides. So I have my square on top of here. Now one of them has to fold this way, because that's what the picture looks like. And the other has to fold this way, because that's what the picture looks like. Of course, it's facing me. So I can do a little, finger fold here, and I can do a little finger fold there, and that reminds me. Or you can take your ruler. Now this is what I call a little cheater line. And I lost my marker, but I have a pencil somewhere right here, and I can just draw a little bit of a soft line here. And this will remind me when I'm ready to cut which way to place my ruler, because otherwise you're kind of making a guess and it's easy to make a mistake. So now when I'm ready to use my folded corner clipper, I can see my line, and it will help me decide which way to place it. So my line's going this way, so do I place the ruler this way and make the cut? No. Do I place it this way and make the cut? No, because the line's not going this way. Do I place it this way? Yes, because the line's going this way and my ruler's going the same way. So that's how I know. Keep turning it till your ruler and your line are going the same direction. Make sure they're all lined up. Then you can make that cut. And how many do you have to make? You have to make 4. So do all 4 at once. And then you have them lined up, run them through the machine at once. Okay, so now you're at the other one. And I dropped my pen. I'm going to make a darker line so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so my line's going this way. You can see that hopefully a little bit better. So let's lay it down. So my line's going this way. So I lay it down here. Is that the right way? No. Is this the right way? Well, it is, because it's going the same way. I might have tried it this way. No, this way. Well, I could do it that way also because it's the correct way. So I lay it down here, and I cut, and I know that they're all going to be going the right direction. Okay, and then I can do that. So I have them going this way when I iron it out and going the opposite way. And I know that I've done it correctly. And boy, I do that on these, one of them, that cheater line, so that I know I've done it correctly, and then I can follow the other 3 in the same direction. Okay? It's very helpful because otherwise you end up doing them all over. So now you have your rectangles. They go on each side. You have all your elements made. So you piece these 4 together. Add this piece. You've already pieced this, and then you can now put those elements like it shows here, these elements, and you have this whole section ready to piece. Now you're going to hold these to the side. Next month, we're going to be doing the corners that go on and another element. You're going to have 2 blocks to make. And I want to remind you, I just, we didn't have any time, or I didn't do any announcements or things that we normally do at the beginning, but we do have an anticipated date. Everybody's asking when we're going to be open. We've had some delays, of course, with the situations out there and all the businesses being closed and delays in our permits. So we're anticipating opening at the beginning of August. So we're really excited about that. And now that we're open, we have all of the fabric moved to our house. So we have a mini shop at our house, and all the notions and everything are here. So we are taking appointments for private shopping. As long as you wear a mask and you're well, you're welcome to call us or email us, and we'd love to have you come shop at our home. We have a lot more here, obviously, that's on our website, so you can always contact us. We'd love you to come over and support us and shop with us. And we'll be doing some more videos. We have a lot of new things coming in, so we'll be doing some tapings of the new things that we are getting in. And thanks, and we look forward to seeing you soon.